Hello Gemini, thank you for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using The Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan, illustrated by Mark Evans. And for the supportive oracle cards, I'm using the Angel's Answers oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Now let's see. I don't know about this card. This card is face down, but I'm not sure I like it there. I have no idea what it is, but we'll see. Now, that seems to be this it's an unstable factor. I feel like this is a possibility, so we'll come to that when necessary. Your overall energy, you do have one for this read. It is the Tower card. So things seem to be falling apart, but typically the Tower card, while it does bring destruction, also brings growth and a new beginning. It's usually a very violent end that starts a very good beginning, usually, in my opinion. Sometimes it's just about a whole new start. That being said, you're going into this situation and you have the Knight of Pentacles with the It's Up to You card. So I feel like with the Knight of Pentacles, you're trying to keep something going. I feel like you've been faithful to something quite well. And you're continuing on and expecting it to continue on. You're not really seeing any change in the situation. And with the It's Up to You next to it, I feel like you're kind of viewing it as in the sense of like, as long as they keep going status quo, the situation should be fine, should continue. Okay, now that going forward, you do have this next card here, the Nine of Wands, which is kind of fighting to keep things where they are. Persevering through any adversities, but keeping a situation where you want it. Now, that being said, on the opposite side here, on the environment, you have not the right time. So I feel like there's a change coming your way here. And you try to stop the change, and I feel like you're temporarily successful with that. I do feel like you're temporarily successful with that. But, again, it's temporary because when I see the not the right time on the environment side, I feel like there's something going to happen here. It's just what is going to happen and when. The situation is coming to this breakdown moment because you have the Tower and the overall energy. So it is coming to a moment of breakdown. The thing is, what is happening? Now I'm noticing we have an interesting connection here next. In the environment, you have the Fool card, and then you have the Star card in the environment. There's this change. The other side, whoever the other side is, however that's coming in, very optimistic about it, very hopeful, very naive on the effects of other people, it seems. And this is where you get that face down card, which I'm not... My original feeling was I wasn't happy. I didn't like the feel of the card, so what is it? Well, there you go. Three of Swords, which explains why I didn't like the feel of it. The other side, very optimistic, very hopeful. I don't feel like they're connected with how this is hitting you, because it seems like it's throwing things right off for you. I don't feel like you want this to happen in any respect. But outside of you, whatever's going on, somebody's creating this change. And I feel like they're trying to do it in a peaceful manner. So I don't feel like there's arguments or conflict in that sense, but I do feel like you're very unhappy that this change is happening, especially with the Three of Swords here. Now, as this goes forward, and I feel like this is going forward quite quickly, I feel like the best tool at your disposal is your mind, and to try to find a light at the end of the tunnel for yourself. I feel like if you start centering on something positive, like I feel like the situation has come to it. I feel like there might be some grieving here, I have to be honest with you. Like there's 5 stages of grieving. I want to say there's acceptance is one of them, clearly. And bargaining, anger, disbelief. I'm missing one of them. I know there's 5 of them. But they all, even the accepting that sometimes comes in pieces, like accepting part of it and then trying to bargain and then being angry. I think depression is one of them. If you look it up, though, I feel like you might have some issues with the grieving process here. But they're saying if you believe here, this can go easier, or you can find something else maybe to center on. I'm getting like finding something else to take your attention from the situation might be the easiest way to handle it. The grieving part is going to happen, but it doesn't have to overwhelm you. What I'm seeing here, though, in the future is I do see the shadow side card with how you come together with the other side along with the situation will improve. So the Three of Swords, then going into the shadow side card, I do feel like this is I feel like the grieving process is happening. You're not happy about this. The fact that this change is happening is kind of derailing things you already had in mind, where you thought things were going. The shadow side card really makes me feel like it's about fear. But more connected with this reading, I feel like it's acknowledging that grieving process is going to happen because of all those stages of depression, anger, acceptance, compromise, bargaining. Compromise and bargaining might be the same thing. Like, I feel like I'm missing one of them still, but you're going through all these stages and they're usually kind of rough. And acceptance can come in and out. You can accept in pieces. But I feel like that's what that's saying, and it's going to get better as time goes on. I just feel like the way you were going, you were very happy with the situation, and you did not want it to end. I feel like whatever the other side is, I feel like they're trying to come forward like in an apologetic way that the things went the way they did, but they're not changing their mind. They're still going forward the same way, and I feel like there's like this forgiveness. Like, if you could forgive the situation, I feel like this is hard to ask at this point because I do feel like you're going through this grieving process for what you had planned. But when you start heading that way or considering it, I feel like this is just a consideration at this point. It does lift a bit of the stress from you. It helps you move more in a direction of healing rather than being stuck in the pain. I have some Gemini in my chart, so I'm kind of wondering about this. But I'd like to see a better outcome here. I know that it's going to improve at the end here, but I'm trying to... a lot of times I'll look at these readings and I kind of equate it how I would receive this information. And I feel like the grieving process with it getting better, like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel like the key thing here is to try to forgive. Like, I don't feel like forgiveness... I don't know if it's going to be really possible at this point, but the consideration of it, I feel like that is an empowering thing for you, and it could move you closer or increase your momentum towards the better day that's coming forward for you, the improvement of the situation. Because I feel like it's the accepting of what it is and moving on from it that seems to be healing and helping you. I'm really not convinced that the forgiveness can happen right off the bat like that. But the considering of it, I feel like that moves you in that direction a lot stronger, and it makes it better for you instead of like trying to go through the compromise as much, which you probably still will, or the bargaining. I think compromise and bargaining are considered the same thing in this situation. But like the moments of depression, anger, denial. Like, there's a lot going on here. I feel like it's going in and out. I feel like this is a rough thing because you had other ideas where you thought this was going to go, and then this whoever else is in part of this just decided they did not want a part of it anymore. They're very optimistic. They're very hopeful, but I don't feel like they're aware of how hard this is hitting you. And I am seeing the Three of Swords here. Like, this is very upsetting. And you're going through these stages. I'm trying to find a different positive way to look at this. I just feel like it's something you're going to have to go through, and it's just rough. I feel like it's rough. But it does get better. It definitely does get better. That forgiveness seems to be the key when you're able to consider it. I don't feel like it can just happen. I just feel like it's considering it moves you into that energy that allows you to heal, and then more healing comes from there. I feel like other doors open for you. And it's like the fresh air can come in a little easier than it was before. I thought, not for nothing, I was hoping this would go a much more positive route, but hopefully this turns out better than I think it is. If it does for you, let me know, because I'm hoping, because I feel like that grieving energy here, and it feels rough to me. So hopefully it does work out a lot better than it looks. Of course, thank you for watching. If you want a direct reading from me, go ahead, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.